Well, hello, and welcome to Behind the Masterpiece. My name is Jeffrey Ken. I'm the executive director of Sarasota Rising and the Living Arts Festival that also happens to coincide with another festival, which is kind of interesting because of our guest today. So if you can't see her, she's brightly colored. She's someplace out in the west. I think Danae will tell me. She looks like she's in New Mexico, maybe, or something.
Yes, I am.
Okay, perfect. So anyway, hello, Danaé Brissonnet. How did I do with the name?
Yes, well, I'm Danaé Brissonnet, and right now I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Beautiful. Yes. Well, you can see that beautiful vision ahead of you, on top of you. That's like, what is that? The ceiling. The ceiling looks great. Um, so I got to Google you today.
Good.
Have you ever
What did
have
you
you ever
find?
Goo- have you ever Googled yourself?
Sometime I do, and I'm like, whoa, there's a bunch of things.
There's a lot of things. So first of all, the first thing that pops up is something that I would love to get your feedback on. It says Canadian puppeteer.
That's perfect. Yeah.
That's the first thing. And then the second thing, I know, I air quotes, and then the second thing is public murals, illustrations, mask making, and puppetry. So, have I left anything out of
No,
what
that's
you
pretty much it. I mean, like, um, performance is part of it too, but that's pretty, that's pretty full.
that's a lot. I mean, that's a Google. I mean, you Google. That's a heavy Google. Um, so
I
so
know.
so there's nothing. So there's not. So performer. So you're a performer as well.
Yeah, I do perform my mask and my puppets, and I do some performing arts too. Um, yeah, I do a lot of things. It's happening. It's like, for 12 years, just being really multidisciplinary in a lot of things. But mainly the thing that, or the most focus of my work is puppetry and mural making.
I, s- I've seen some of the pictures that pop up of some of your murals. They aren't your average everyday. Hi, isn't this pretty? I mean, these are intense. I mean, they're really incredible. Um, so who do you bless with these murals? Where can we find some of them? Are they in your hometown?
Actually, I have a mural really close to my hometown. I am from Joliette. I'm from originally from Quebec, Canada, and my hometown is called Saint Beatrix. It's a tiny town. I have murals in Montreal, in Ottawa, and but mostly like Taiwan, Latin America, New York, New Orleans, Puerto Rico, um, Mexico. I have also in Morocco.
Okay,
Is the name?
now you're just
In a bunch of
bragging.
places.
You're just bragging now. I mean, come on.
I'm bragging. I'm just like, I've been everywhere. What's missing?
Snap, snap. So your pieces tend to have a very kind of international feel to them. So it doesn't surprise me that you're kind of all over the world. Where do you get your inspiration from for something like that? I mean, do you go by where you are? Do you go by where how you feel? I mean, because that would be different if you're going to a town and to do a mural. Where does that inspiration come from for that?
Well, I'll say that after 12 years of traveling, I do have like there's some colors and some imagery and something that are really close to me, and then I try to adapt and let myself influence by the place where I am and take the symbols of the place the way I write symbols in my murals or the way I place them, but I will use things from the place where I am to like have a certain connection with the people and have the people like feel a connection to the work also.
Do you interview people, or do they interview you? I mean, how do you get a gig in Taiwan?
I would say I do interview like, I mean, are you thinking about a job wise, or like I post because I do interview people before making the work, or like while I'm making the work I will
Right,
interview local people
right.
and ask them about their culture, legends, history, and then I gather all these information and then I create my design. For the aspect of like them finding me, it's mostly by internet and ear to mouth, and also like when you leave such a big work, then people like also contact you because they pass by it or they seeing it while you're making it. So it's like if I had like an office in different countries, like because I paint and I do take my time. Like some artists, they paint in 3 days and they leave. But do you do leave kind of like, you leave like a giant garden or you leave like a sculpture, so it's people are, you leave a giant image so people will can see your name and then they can contact you. um but mostly the contact making happens when I'm creating. But also, I was explaining that yesterday to somebody, like the beginning of my career was in bread and puppet in Vermont. It's this really old company that's still, it's still alive today. It's been almost 60 years, and they're thriving. They inspire like the circus, the circus of the sun, um, Cirque du Soleil. They inspired so many people, and they inspired me too. I was in the year where I was with 20 people from all different countries. There was people from Philippines, Bangladesh, India, Mexico, Turkey. It was amazing and beautiful, and I think like I met so many people from around the world, and that really, and these people are still close to me in some way because we shared so many intense experience.
Yeah,
And I traveled to these country and also like re-met these people in different countries, and they were all cultural bearer of their like of their country. So
yeah,
I did had really good contact making in this place, and it just kind of opened me to the world. And after that, I started to travel, and I did had help from people that knew the puppet community. So I did travel through the puppet community and the
mm,
performance community, which is a really small community and people really holding each other, and helping each other. And then I started to do mural because I arrived to Nicaragua. I was traveling because I met all these amazing, beautiful people that were from Puerto Rico and Mexico, and I had such a beautiful connection with them. And I was like, I need to learn Spanish. So I went to Latin America and I learned Spanish in a couple of months, and I stayed there for a whole year. And I was in Nicaragua and I was working in a print studio, and they received like a call for muralists to go paint in the north of Nicaragua, and I applied. I did it. It was amazing. We were like sharing with the community. And that's where really I was like, okay, this is this is an amazing way to share.
yeah,
Like when I travel, this is such a strong, fast way to share culture and also share talents and share my energy with people. Because when I travel, like I was traveling, but I felt that I was taking. I was just taking from, because they were teaching me so much, and I was like, wow, I don't know how to give back. Like, okay, I can give a little drawing there, a little thing there. But then when I did this big mural, I was like, whoa, I have like 10 kids like helping me paint. I have like the elder lady watching me every day. I talk with all the locals. I was like, okay, this is what I like. This is
wow.
amazing. This is how I want to travel. So I
Have you
just started to travel like that.
have you ever documented one of your murals, like that going through this process with the people in the community and those conversations? Because this sounds fascinating.
um did I there is like some documentary that's been done in CBC News.
Okay.
Um that's like me explaining a little bit like my parkour and me like with the kids and the locals. So we there's some documentary that's have been made for sure.
That would just be fascinating to watch you kind of go into a community with your mindset. I mean, not every artist has your mindset of I need to give something back to these people. So that's a unique perspective. I love to travel. I've never thought about that I'm taking so much with me and that I've not left anything. I think the only thing I've ever done is I've stacked rocks, like in the water, like when you're in the like when you're on a like in a stream and you stack rocks, I'll do that. That's about all I've ever left. Did your parents have a big influence on you when it comes to your worldview of travel and such?
Of course, my grandma is from the Caribbean, so my grandma is from Guadeloupe, and I'm born in Joliette, Quebec, but the part of my family where my mom she came to see me, and I was like, I know that I'm not from here.
Wow.
She's this she like this beautiful lady with like two long braids and really like dark skin. She's beautiful. She passed a month ago, so it's been really hard. Um, yeah, it's been a lot of grief this past month, but she was like a big reason for me to travel.
Wow. But what an honor though. I mean, you're honoring her every day, you know? And what a great legacy to have you out in the world. I mean, I'm verklempt just thinking about how proud she had to have been of you and of what you do. So I know it's a challenge. I lost I've lost my folks, and it's a challenge, to lose family. It does make you kind of double down, and I think make you become more who you are.
Yeah, there's
Like
like
your most
a
genuine self.
it is a beautiful. It is really intense, but it's beautiful. I think there's a lot of exactly like realness, and also like um there's also some kind of, I don't know, like clarity that comes with it. That's really nice. And also like, my both parents are artists. My dad is an amazing woodworker, and he makes sculpture. He's really an amazing builder. And my mom is an incredible illustrator who paints
Wow.
and makes amazing like sewing. So I have like my both parents are really artistic, so I've been really privileged in that way to have my both parents understanding my path, and they're always there if there's a project in Canada, and then we did this giant wall that was like animated and with puppetry, and they were there. They were like, supporting. My dad did all the building, and my mom did the sewing. I had my friends making puppets with me. So I have beautiful parents in that way.
That's amazing. Was that the storefront that looked like it had the mouth?
Yes.
Was that it? Because I've seen
That
that
was for my
picture.
30th birthday. That was my 30th birthday, and I was like, I'm gonna kill this wall. I'm gonna do it. So but it was crazy. I got injured like 2 days before I started. I broke my nose and all my face, and then I kept on doing it with like my crazy face like all inched, and I was like, I'm doing it. I'm 30. Just like painting. It was pretty crazy.
So you were completely undaunted then by with a broken nose and all that.
Yeah, it was a little like there was like this kind of ego fight thing, because it's this festival that's like really big in Montreal. And like for years I was like, hey, I would like to, do something. And then they never respond to me till they waited 10 years to like, see that I was like doing good. And then after 10 years, they were like, we would like to invite you. And I was just like, kind of like, "Arr, I'm going to show you what I can do."
Yeah.
And
It's
then
a
they gave me this weird wall, on the corner, and I was like, "You think I can't do this? I'll do it."
I love it. I love it. And then to have your family around you, that's incredible. That's incredible. So we're talking to you partially because, we in Sarasota, we have an international chalk festival that our friend Denise, produces now for many years. How did Denise find you?
Wow, Denise, that's such a crazy story. She found me in the west coast of Canada. She was um she was doing the chalk festival in Vancouver
Mhm.
or Victoria, sorry, Victoria, and I was painting a mural in Victoria. And she was passing by and she found my work and she invited me for the chalk festival in 2013. And I was like, well, I never did chalk. And she's like, oh, we can put a little wall for you and everything. And I was next to Jason Bullock, John Bullock, Bullock, this artist that's now super famous, like crazy famous. And now we were both next to each other painting a small panel.
Wow.
I was with Anat Rowan also, like so we were like three muralists. Yeah, I was painting. I went there and I was painting a little panel of on a plywood, and it was really amazing. And I met like incredible artists from everywhere in the world. That was also like a really pinpoint of my career where I met people from Colombia, people from everywhere in the States, and it was wonderful to see the work, like to see the
Yeah.
chalk and how it was made. And I love the I liked I like the artist. Like I like the family vibe, and also like people are really humble and so talented, and but really
It's like
kind. Like it was a
it's like a
really kind
family.
family. Yeah, it was beautiful, and I was like, "Oh, I really like it," you know. And then we went to Key West, and then there was another tiny festival there. So I stayed there for a while, and after I left for Colombia, where I stayed with one of the artists that I met, it was really nice experience. And then I didn't know, like I did this, and you know, I and then Denise contacted me. She's like, I have this thing. We're doing this flower thing. I would like you to do a parade. I was like, yes, let's do it. So here
So
I am gonna
Denise
go and
Denise Denise is a force to be reckoned with, just so you know. We know that here in this part of the world. She's amazing. And bless her heart. And so the cool thing is her the Chalk Festival is really right here in Sarasota on Pineapple. And my opening party for our very first Living Arts Festival is right next door. So the end of your party is the beginning of my party, which is going to be kind of wonderful and fascinating. And Denise
wow.
Denise has talked about the Flora and Fauna Parade. Can you tell us a little something about what is that going to be about? I mean, how is that going to work?
Yeah. I mean, so basically, the whole festival is like with the carpets and the flower, and I'm creating these being and like creature, and also there's like two like more bigger creature that are articulated with people in it. So it's like big puppets. So there's two big puppets, and then the rest are like costumes. There's about like 15 people that are like mainly there, and then there's gonna be volunteer, and also we're gonna hold a workshop with the community so they make their own mask so they can be like with us in the parade. Basically, we're like the creature, and I'm gonna try to do small creature that are inside of the plant in the flower but bigger. So like mainly insect, um, pollinator,
Yeah,
pollinator.
yeah, you're right.
Like
Pollinator, yes.
hummingbird and bees and scarab, and also like there's gonna be little frogs. They're gonna be like different animals, and there's gonna be like headpiece and costumes,
I love
and
it.
there's gonna be a big scarab that's gonna be articulated by like at least six people. So it's
Wow.
gonna like walk. Like everybody's gonna have like
Yeah.
one
I mean,
leg, and they're just gonna
that's
walk.
that's that's work. I mean, I've seen some of those big puppeteers and those big puppets. Those people are working. That takes a really
Oh yes.
skilled, right? I mean, doesn't that take like a
It
special
takes
skill?
skills. It takes like it takes will and it takes strength for
Right.
sure.
Yeah. Well, just know all of your amazing fun creatures are all welcome to walk another half a block to our opening party and be a part of our. We have a Brazilian band playing. It'll be fun.
Whoa,
Yeah,
definitely gonna come. Maybe not
absolutely.
the big thing, but we're
We'll,
definitely
we'll,
gonna come in costume for sure.
we'll be right there. That will be awesome. Yeah,
Nice.
that is so cool. So I would love your perspective because you've done these events before. What makes from your perspective, like the Sarasota International Chalk Festival, from your perspective, what makes it kind of different or unique? Or, what are your feelings on how this fits into your world?
I really I really liked it, and I think it's one of the sweetest like festival I've been. I think I did felt I did felt like supported, and I did felt that it was like easy to communicate with people, and
It seems
I don't
it's more
know,
authentic. Is that what you're kind of saying?
it's super cute and authentic. I love it.
Authentic.
Yeah, and it's also like people are motivated. Like people are like all together and like let's do it. And I really liked it, and also I like how Denise managed like the thing. I love how there's all these volunteers and how people are taking this really seriously but in a beautiful way. I'm really excited to come back. I really liked how it was like a sweet family. And it's rare to have a festival like that. They're kind of disappearing.
So you're saying Denise is a big thumbs up in what she's able to do and how she's able to. Wow, wow, that's high praise.
Because it's also the process, like it was excited also when I went there. I was part of the process, like it was the festival, but it was so before and after.
So her festival is November 8th through the 10th. So you're going to be here for a few weeks before that.
Yeah, I'm coming on the 15th of October, and I start working. And I
Well,
have an amazing I have like two teammates that are coming. I have my friend who's an amazing puppet maker too from Seattle, and I have another friend who's an amazing performer from Mexico. So we're gonna be like the three of us teaching workshops and
wow.
making the puppets and the costumes.
Well, we're going to have a drink after one of your
Of
days.
course, we'll be there.
Have a little prosecco, a little party, and a little prosecco to welcome you to our region. So I have one last question for you because of course it seems like I could talk to you for like another hour. So we'll do that over prosecco. Um, where do you get your inspiration from? Where do you feel like your inspiration comes from?
I do think that mostly inspiration comes from I love ritual, I love emotion, and I love how human being deal with emotion and situation. And I think that like I like the link the collective unconsciousness of like there's just things that are always the same everywhere, like as you travel everywhere, but there's always the power dynamic, or the religions, or the politics, or how people deal with nature, and how people use nature, and how people use each other. I don't know, I really like how beings are interactive. Like I like the interactivity of people, and I think there's so many. I also like opposition, life and death. I like how people go through change. So all of this is like metamorphosis. I also like science fiction a lot. So it's like all these things that are like, you know, the mind that's transforming into something else. And that's why I really like when I travel, I love to go to sacred space like temples and churches. And I just like how it fascinates me how human worship things, and how we commute through life, and how we need to have this thing to change. So I like to create these entity and these like characters that have many complexity inside of them. And the complexity, I'm telling my story like in every mural. There's a personal story there. There's like a stage in my life where I am, but
Hmm.
I still use symbols that everybody can do their own story with what they can see. But and I use like symbols from where I am, but I do hide a lot of like mysterious message. And even me, sometimes I paint and I'm like, whoa, it means this, or it means this to me personally, but it will mean something else for somebody else.
Right.
But
Well,
I do like to, and also one of my main inspiration is storytelling, because the stories are really interesting, because it's all about also like moral, or ideas and concepts of how human interaction, or through animals or through symbols. So I don't know. It was
no, no.
complex,
Listen,
but
no, this is fascinating. This is why we have artists in the world. No, because no one thinks exactly like you do. I'm so glad I asked that question, because it was wonderful, number one, to watch you go through it in your head. Um, and then your word choices are beautiful. I mean, you basically amalgamate where you are with how you feel, and then you present something that people feel. I mean, what a great job you have. I mean, that's pretty amazing. I'm so glad we've had this time to talk.
thank you so much. You made it so fun.
Well, that'll make the prosecco drink that's just that much better. So when you're down, we'll get
I
together, I
can't
promise,
wait.
okay?
I'll be there.
Perfect,
I
perfect.
already met a friend here who's from Sarasota, so I'm like,
Well, we all know each other. So, they probably live across the street. So,
probably.
well, thank you, Donna A. And thank you all for joining us on Behind the Masterpiece. We love our conversations each and every week. Our artist practitioners are amazing, and we hope to see all of you very soon. Thank you to Visit Sarasota for caring, and for you, Donna A., for being an amazing person here on our podcast. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks for being in our audience. I'm Jeffrey Kin, Sarasota Rising Living Arts Festival. If you'd like more information about the incredible work that Visit Sarasota does, please visit them at visitsarasota.com. Thanks so much for being a part of our audience.